Most men give up too soon. They think they've lost the battle before the war has even started. She's pulling away, acting distant, not responding the way she used to, and you feel like it's over. But what if I told you this is actually your biggest opportunity? What if, instead of walking away defeated, you could turn everything in your favor without chasing, begging, or losing your self-respect? Most men never understand this. They act too soon, too desperately, and too emotionally, and that's exactly what ruins everything. So before you give up, watch this video. Let's get into it. Number 1. The silent test. You didn't even notice. Here's something most men completely miss. When a woman pulls away, it's often a subconscious test. She doesn't always plan it, but her instincts are watching. She's wondering, is he emotionally strong enough to handle this? Will he chase me? Or will he hold his ground? Does he truly have options, or is he just pretending? And here's the dangerous part. Most men fail instantly. She ignores them. They text again. She takes longer to respond. They ask if everything is okay. She cancels plans, and they try to reschedule immediately. Every single one of these reactions proves to her that she's in full control. But the men who pass this test, the ones who truly stand out, do something different. They don't react emotionally. They don't chase. They don't beg for answers. They simply hold their position. And that's when she starts to feel something unexpected: regret. Number 2. How to handle it the right way. Most men make the mistake of welcoming her back too easily. She disappears for a week, then suddenly texts, "Hey," and what do? They jump at the opportunity. Big mistake. Here's how to handle it instead. Stay calm. Don't act like her message is the best thing that's happened to you. Let her work for it. If she disappeared, she needs to prove she's serious about coming back. Take back control of the pace. Don't fall into old patterns. Let her feel the distance before giving her too much attention again. If you do this, she'll respect you more, because now she knows she can't take you for granted. Number 3. Why she's pulling away in the first place. Most men panic when a woman becomes distant. They assume she's lost interest, found someone else, or simply doesn't care anymore. But the reality is much deeper. Women don't just wake up one day and stop feeling something. It happens gradually, in stages. Here's what's really going on. She stops feeling the chase. When she first met you, there was mystery, excitement, and challenge. Now she knows exactly how you feel, and it's become predictable. She tests your emotional control. Women subconsciously want to see how you handle emotional shifts. Do you panic? Do you overreact? Or do you remain calm and unshaken? She needs space to feel something again. Attraction isn't built on words. It's built on distance, tension, and emotions. When something is always available, it loses value. And this is where most men fail. Instead of pulling back when she does, they push harder. They text more, call more, and try harder. And that's when attraction fades. Because now, she doesn't have to work for your attention anymore. And if she doesn't have to work for it, she won't value it. Number 5. The power of controlled distance. Here's what most men don't realize. Women don't fall in love with presence. They fall in love with absence. The less you give away freely, the more she values what she gets. Think about it. When something is always available, you stop noticing it. But when something disappears, you start craving it. That's why pulling back at the right time is the most powerful move you can make. Instead of texting her first, wait. Instead of liking her posts, ignore them. Instead of adjusting your schedule for her, prioritize yourself. Because when you stop being predictable, stop being too easy to reach, and stop reacting instantly, everything changes. She starts noticing your absence. And suddenly she starts wondering, why isn't he reacting? Did he lose interest? Is he seeing someone else? The moment you stop giving freely, she starts missing you. Number 6. Why women underestimate you until you go silent. Most women assume that men will always be available. They believe that no matter what they do, no matter how much they pull away, you'll still be there, waiting. And why wouldn't they? Most men chase. Most men can't handle a woman's distance. But when you don't act like most men, when you choose silence over chasing, it disrupts her expectations. She starts thinking, why isn't he reacting? Why hasn't he tried to talk to me? Is he actually moving on? And those thoughts spark something deep inside her. Suddenly, she's asking herself a question she never expected. Did I misjudge him? That question alone creates a wave of emotions most women aren't prepared for. Number 7. The unspoken rule of attraction. Here's a truth most men don't realize. A woman values you based on how difficult you are to replace. When you're always there, always available, she never has to think about losing you. But now, she's starting to feel your absence. And that feeling, it's unsettling. She starts wondering, did I take him for granted? Did I misjudge his worth? The best part, she doesn't even realize she's doing it. It happens naturally, subconsciously, because when something is always available, it loses value. But when something disappears, it becomes a mystery, and mystery creates attraction. Number 8. How to regain control. Without saying a word, most men think they need to say something to regain control. Maybe explain themselves, apologize, or try to negotiate their way back into her mind. But the truth is, words don't create attraction, behavior does. The most powerful way to regain control: do nothing. No long messages, no emotional explanations, no desperate attempts to reconnect. Just pull back and live your life. When you stop reacting, you shift the power dynamic. She starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me? Did I misjudge his value? Is he moving on without me? The moment you stop giving her free validation, she starts craving it. That's the secret. You don't chase, you attract. Number 9. If she never comes back, read this. Here's the truth you need to accept. Not every woman will come back, and that's okay. If she pulls away and never returns, she just saved you from wasting more time on the wrong person. You don't want a woman who stays only when you chase her. You want a woman who chooses to stay because she values you. Number 10. The power of silence. Here's something most men will never understand. Silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give. Most guys think they need to argue, explain themselves, or fight for her attention when she pulls away. But the truth is, silence speaks louder than words ever could. It creates mystery, uncertainty, and a shift in emotional power. At first, she might not even notice. She assumes you'll be back, that you'll check in, send a text, or try to fix things. But then, days pass, then weeks. Suddenly, she realizes something is different. Now you're no longer predictable. You're no longer the guy who always checks in or waits. Instead, you've disappeared from her world. And that creates a void she wasn't expecting. It forces her to reevaluate her feelings for you. Number 11. The moment she starts to feel your absence. Here's the part most men never get to see because they give up too early. At first, she feels fine. She might even feel relieved. She assumes you'll reach out soon. But then, silence. No texts, no calls, no engagement on her social media, nothing. Days turn into weeks. She starts checking her phone more often, still nothing. And that's when it hits her. For the first time, she's the one feeling uncertain. She's the one wondering if she made a mistake. Because now, you're no longer chasing. And that changes everything. Number 12. Why women underestimate you until you go silent. Most women assume that men will always be available. They assume that no matter what they do, no matter how much they pull away, you'll still be there waiting. And why wouldn't they? Most men chase, and most men can't handle a woman's distance. But when you don't act like most men, when you choose silence over chasing, it disrupts her expectations. She starts thinking, wait, why isn't he reacting? Why hasn't he tried to talk to me? Is he actually moving on? And those thoughts spark something deep inside her. It forces her to ask herself a question she never expected to ask. Did I misjudge him? That question alone creates a wave of emotions that most women aren't prepared for. Number 13. The moment she starts to feel your absence. Here's the part most men never get to see because they give up too early. At first, she feels fine. She might even feel relieved. She assumes you'll reach out soon. But then, silence. No texts, no calls, no engagement on her social media. Nothing. Days turn into weeks. She starts checking her phone more often. Still nothing. And that's when it hits her. For the first time, she's the one feeling uncertain. She's the one wondering if she made a mistake. Because now, you're no longer chasing. And that changes everything. Number 14. Why she comes back when you least expect it. Here's what happens when you master this mindset. At first, she thinks you'll cave. She expects you to reach out. But then, silence. Days turn into weeks. Now, her confidence starts to fade. She starts checking her phone, wondering why you haven't texted. Then, out of nowhere, she reaches out. Maybe she sends a simple, "Hey." Maybe she finds an excuse to ask you something random. But the message isn't important. Her actions are. Why? Because she's testing the waters. She wants to see if she still has power over you. Most men make the mistake of jumping at the chance to talk again. But the men who truly understand attraction, they stay calm, detached, and let her work for their attention. The key? Don't overinvest. Let her prove she's serious before you give her your time. Number 15. The biggest mistake men make when she comes back. Here's where most men fail. They welcome her back too easily. She disappears for weeks, ignores messages, and then suddenly texts, "Hey." And what do most men do? They get excited and respond instantly. Big mistake. When you reward her absence with immediate attention, you reinforce the idea that she can leave and return anytime she wants, with no consequences. Instead, here's how to handle it. Stay calm. Don't act like her message is the best thing that's happened to you. Make her work for it. If she left, she needs to earn her place back in your life. Take back control. Don't fall into old patterns. Let her feel the distance before giving her too much attention again. When you do this, she respects you more, because now she knows she can't take you for granted. Number 16. The subtle signs. She's testing the waters. Here's where most men fail. The second she throws out a test, they take the bait. Maybe she sends a random, "Hey." Maybe she reacts to one of your posts. Maybe she texts you about something meaningless. But it's not meaningless. It's her way of saying, "Are you still there?" And if you respond too quickly, too eagerly, you confirm that she still has you. Just like that, the game resets. She knows she can still get your attention whenever she wants, and she loses interest all over again. Number 17. How to handle the moment. She reaches out. If she reaches out after your silence, most men think it's a victory. They think, she came back. Now I can act normal again. Wrong. This is the most critical moment, because how you respond now determines everything. You have two choices. Fall right back into old patterns and let her feel in control. Stay composed and let her work for your attention. The second option is what keeps her interested, because now you're not the same guy she once knew. Now you're a challenge, and women crave challenges. Number 18. The unspoken rule of attraction. Here's a truth most men don't realize. A woman values you based on how difficult you are to replace. When you were always there, always available, she never had to think about losing you. But now she's starting to feel your absence. And that feeling, it's unsettling. She starts wondering if she took you for granted. She starts wondering if she misjudged your worth. The best part, she doesn't even realize she's doing it. It happens naturally, subconsciously, because when something is always available, it loses value. But when something disappears, it becomes a mystery, and mystery creates attraction. Number 19. Why she suddenly starts watching you again. Once the silence sets in, she does what most women do. She starts watching. She starts checking your online activity. She starts scrolling through old messages. She might even start liking your posts again just to see if you'll react. But why? Because she's trying to figure something out. Did I actually lose him? That question keeps her mind locked on you. Because the moment a woman thinks she might have lost a man who was once devoted to her, it stirs emotions she never expected. It forces her to reevaluate everything. And that's when she starts feeling the weight of your absence. Number 20. The secret most men never understand. This isn't just about missing you. This is about power. She's realizing that she doesn't have the control she thought she did. And that drives her crazy. Number 21. Detachment. The game-changer detachment. That's what breaks her ego. When she finally realizes you were the prize, everything flips. She understands that you weren't just another guy. She understands that you weren't someone she could string along forever. She understands that you weren't someone who would wait forever. And the painful part, she realizes it too late. Because now, you've changed, you've grown. You've become the man who no longer waits for her validation. And in that moment, she finally understands what you understood all along. The real value wasn't in her approval. It was in your ability to walk away. Number 22. The ultimate mindset shift. Here's what you need to understand. You never want to be the man who is always available, always chasing. Instead, focus on your own life and priorities. When you give her space, when you allow her to miss you, you become more valuable in her eyes. You become someone she has to work for, and that's what creates lasting attraction. You don't win by chasing a woman. You win by becoming the kind of man who never has to chase. You win by having standards, valuing your time, and making her prove she deserves your energy. That's when everything changes, because now you're in control, not through manipulation, not through games, but through self-respect. And that is what separates the men who get played from the men women can't forget. Number 23. When she starts looking for you in other men. One of the most fascinating things about human psychology is that when someone can't have what they want, they start searching for it elsewhere. And when a woman realizes you're not reaching out, She tries to fill that void, even if she doesn't fully understand why she's doing it. She might start texting old flings. She might seek attention from new guys. She might post things online hoping you'll react. But here's the truth. None of it feels the same. Because no matter who she talks to, you're still on her mind. Number 24. Why her ego won't let her admit she misses you. Women have two sides when it comes to missing someone. The emotional side, where she feels the loss, regret, and longing. The ego, which hates to lose. Her ego won't let her admit she was wrong. Instead of reaching out with honesty, she plays games. She might send a random, "Hey, hope you're doing well." She might suddenly post about how happy she is. But inside, she's hoping you're still watching. And when you don't react, that's when the real battle begins. Number 25. When your silence becomes unbearable for her, there comes a point where your silence is no longer just noticed, it's felt. At first she brushed it off, thinking you'd be back. She assumed you'd eventually give in, send a message, try to reconnect. But now, she's feeling something unexpected. Your absence is no longer just a minor inconvenience. It's messing with her emotions. She checks her phone, hoping to see your name pop up. She revisits old conversations, trying to remember if she missed a sign that you were slipping away. And the more time passes, the more she starts questioning herself. Did I push him too far? Was I wrong about him? Is he really gone for good?